All right, so today we're diving into some pretty mind-bending stuff. I mean, really thought-provoking. You guys sent over this interview with Matías Stefano.
Oh, yeah, Stefan.
He's an Argentinian spiritual teacher. And then there's Robert Edward Grant.
A researcher, right, focuses on consciousness
Yeah.
and ancient civilization.
Exactly. And get this, the interview takes place with Stefano appearing to be in a yurt.
Whoa, a yurt.
Yeah, like a yurt.
That's pretty interesting.
I don't know about you, but
It's giving mystical vibes for sure.
totally.
Yep.
Like right away, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get deep here. So they talk about this whole concept of conditional love being the foundation of reality.
Conditional love.
I know, right? It sounds kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Because we usually think of love as this unconditional thing. But
Interesting how he presents it, though.
yeah, so DeStefano explains that like all relationships, even those based in love, they're essentially agreements between two people.
Agreements.
Yeah, like to fulfill each other's needs, you know?
Oh, okay, so it's
Yeah.
like a give and take.
Exactly. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like the basic structure of how we relate to each other. And Grant actually ties this into the idea of chakras.
The energy centers in our bodies.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed how like different relationships, they kind of operate on different levels?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Like some are more surface level, focused on like basic needs,
Right.
while others are way deeper, more emotionally intimate.
That's a good point. I've definitely experienced that.
So Grant's suggesting that this like relates to the chakras. The lower chakras, the ones dealing with survival and security, things like that, they represent a more conditional form of love.
Makes sense.
And then the higher chakras, the ones associated with compassion, self-realization, that's where things start to move towards a more unconditional expression of love.
So it's like a progression.
Exactly. But here's where it gets even deeper. Stefano really emphasizes that moving towards unconditional love, transcending duality, it doesn't mean erasing those conditional experiences.
Well, we don't just like get rid of them.
Right? It's not about pretending they don't exist. He actually uses this really powerful analogy. It's like trying to achieve unconditional love by rejecting conditional love is like cutting off the lower half of your body because you've become aware of your heart.
Wow. That's a powerful image.
Right. It makes you think, like, how often do we try to force ourselves or other people to jump straight to this, like, idealized version of unconditional love?
Yeah. Without acknowledging those basic human needs.
Exactly. What if instead of rejecting those conditional experiences, we could, like, learn from them? See them as stepping stones.
Stepping stones to something deeper.
Yes. And that brings us to another really important point that they discuss. The role of judgment. That inner critic.
It's always there, isn't it?
Always lurking, ready to categorize everything as good or bad, right or wrong.
Ugh, I know. And it can be so hard to quiet that voice.
Totally. And you know what's fascinating? Both Stefano and Grant, they point out that what we judge most harshly in other people
Often reflects what we dislike in ourselves. It's like we're projecting our own insecurities onto others.
it's classic projection. Have you ever noticed, like, getting super triggered by something someone else does?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It might be worth asking yourself, like, is there something in me that resonates with this? Am I judging in them what I fear or dislike in myself?
That's such a good point.
Stefano brings up money as an example. He says people who judge money negatively, like who see it as evil or corrupting,
Right.
they often have a lack of it themselves.
It's like they're pushing away abundance.
Yeah, because they haven't dealt with their own beliefs about it.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And Grant adds to this with this analogy about credit. He says you're more likely to get a loan.
To receive financial abundance?
Exactly. When you're already in a state of stability.
Yeah.
When you don't need it desperately.
That's interesting.
It's like the universe is saying, show me you've learned how to manage money responsibly and I'll give you more.
I like that.
What if that applies to other areas of life too?
That's powerful.
Speaking of spaciousness, let's talk about Grant's theory about pyramids.
Okay, this should be good.
Get ready for this because it's a bit out there. Grant believes that pyramids around the world,
They're all over the place, right?
yeah, they're like musical notes,
Musical notes.
forming a giant keyboard.
A giant keyboard. What?
I know, right? It's a wild concept, but it makes you think about these ancient structures in a whole new way. Like, what if they hold a deeper meaning? A resonance beyond their physical form?
Okay, I'm intrigued.
And Stefano actually supports this idea in a way. He says that the Weaver told him about 12 songs
12 songs.
around the world that when played together will allow humanity to be heard by other consciousnesses.
So we're not just talking about like physical sound here.
Right. It's like a symphony of consciousness. Each pyramid a note in this grand cosmic orchestra.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown.
And this is where Grant's research and Stefano's insights really come together. Grant, inspired by his conversations with Stefano, believes he's discovered a new DNA structure involving silicon.
Silicon? Really?
He calls it the Rama Bridge,
The Rama Bridge.
like that mythical bridge between India and Sri Lanka.
Oh, wow. So it's like a symbol of connection.
Exactly. And he's applying it to the very building blocks of life.
It's like bridging science and spirituality.
Right. Using both logic and imagination, Grant used rigorous research and Stefano's intuition to arrive at this discovery.
That's fascinating.
And then get this. They go on to reinterpret the biblical story of Adam and Eve, but through this lens of consciousness and duality.
Adam and Eve, I mean, that's a classic story.
It's full of symbolism, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Grant suggests that the tree of knowledge with its forbidden fruit represents conditional love, that separation into duality,
What you created.
the experience of time and mortality as we know it. It's like that first bite of the apple represents humanity's descent into this world of opposites, where everything is seen as separate.
And the tree of life.
That symbolizes unity consciousness,
Mm.
that state of being that Adam wasn't ready for.
Like he wasn't evolved enough.
Exactly. It's like a cosmic keep-out sign saying you need a certain level of awareness to access this.
That's a really interesting take on it.
And they also bring up this idea that humans are the planet. Like leaving Earth isn't an escape.
What, an expansion?
Yes, an expansion of consciousness itself. It challenges that whole idea of separation. Us versus them, human versus planet.
We're all connected.
Exactly, woven together in this intricate web of life.
It makes you wonder about UFOs, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are they actually spaceships?
Or could they be manifestations of consciousness, transcending physical form?
What if it's all just a reflection of our own evolving consciousness?
It's a mind-blowing thought, right?
Yeah.
This whole conversation is making me rethink everything I thought I knew about reality.
Me too. It's amazing how these deep dives can challenge our assumptions.
And open us up to new possibilities.
Yeah.
You know what really gets me about all this is how Grant, seamlessly blends science with Stefano's intuition.
Yeah, it's a cool combination.
Like that Rama Bridge thing.
The silicon DNA structure.
Yeah, it's wild. It sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Totally. But it came from real scientific research.
And those deep dives into consciousness.
It's like, what other crazy discoveries are out there just waiting for us to bridge that gap between science and spirituality?
It's like they both hold a piece of the puzzle.
And when you put them together.
A whole new picture emerges.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that whole pyramids as a giant keyboard theory.
Oh.
And if we connect that to the Rama Bridge idea, like this thing inside us that could unlock all these abilities,
Right.
what if we are the instruments?
Whoa. Like we're playing the music of the universe.
Yeah. What if by evolving our consciousness, we're actually tuning ourselves to resonate with those cosmic frequencies?
That's a trippy thought.
Stefano mentioned those 12 songs that need to be played together.
For humanity to be heard by other consciousnesses.
What if raising our awareness, cultivating compassion? What if that's how we create those songs?
But we're not just listening, we're composing too.
It's like finding your voice on a cosmic level. But it makes me think about what Stefano said about unlocking these abilities without the wisdom to use them responsibly.
Oh, yeah. Like a double-edged sword.
That's a lot of power.
Definitely.
Like giving a kid a loaded gun. Grant's interpretation of the Adam and Eve story really emphasizes that point.
The tree of knowledge as conditional love and the tree of life as unity consciousness.
Can we handle knowledge without wisdom? Are we ready to go back to that Garden of Eden without messing things up again?
It's a big question. It's not enough to just unlock the secrets. We need to develop the maturity to use that knowledge wisely.
I think it comes down to recognizing that knowledge and wisdom need to go hand in hand.
Like two sides of the same coin?
It's not about choosing science or spirituality, logic or intuition. It's about integrating them.
Finding that balance.
Yeah, that balance between the mind and the heart.
Yeah.
Maybe by building that Rama bridge, not just within ourselves, but in our relationships, our communities.
We can create a different kind of world.
A world where technology serves humanity, where knowledge and wisdom are in harmony. It's a beautiful vision.
And it all starts with us.
With each of us. Like cultivating awareness, questioning our assumptions, embracing both the light and shadow within ourselves.
And in others.
This deep dive has been quite a journey. We've explored so much about love, judgment, consciousness, the universe.
It's a lot to take in.
And I think the biggest takeaway for me is it's not about finding all the answers, but about asking the right questions.
Questions that challenge us to think differently.
To expand our awareness, to step into our full potential as human beings.
So, what song will you sing? How will you use your gifts to contribute to the symphony of life? The answers are within you.